Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be going over finding the LCM, aka the lowest common multiple, and HCF, aka the highest common factor of any numbers. So in case you've forgotten or just don't know in general what the LCM and HCF are, if I have a LCM, this stands for the lowest common multiple. So if I have two simple numbers such as 3 and 5, the lowest common multiple is basically we just keep writing the multiples of every number until we reach one common one. So let's see, with 3 I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and for 15 and for 5 I have 5, 10, and 15. As we can see, this 15 over here is my lowest common multiple, as it is the lowest number of both multiples that are like common between 3 and 5. As for the HCF, so the HCF stands for the highest common factor. So let's say I have, and again, two very simple numbers such as 12 and 15. All we have to do is we just list down all of their factors, and whatever highest number we get is my highest common factor. So 12, let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. These are all the factors of 12. And for 15, we can go with 1, 3, 5, and 15. Now we can see that both numbers have a factor of 1 and both numbers have a factor of 3. However, since 3 is higher than 1, this makes 3 my highest common factor. So these are what lowest common multiple and highest common factor are. Now, this way over here, where we kind of just list down the factors, it takes a while and it is basically only doable for very simple numbers, such as over here 12 and 15. So it is very common in an exam to get asked about questions of the lowest common multiple and highest common factor of relatively large numbers. So obviously writing down all the factors or the multiples, that's going to take a excruciatingly long amount of time, and these are the type of questions that students tend to not be able to answer even though they're so easy. So over here is an example question where it is asking us to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 70 and 40. Now again, obviously I can't just waste my time in an exam writing all the factors of 70 and then all the factors of 42, seeing what are all common, which one is the highest, then with same thing with the multiples. That is going to take a while, and most questions like these only tend to be 2 to 3 marks, so it's really not worth doing all that. So what are the ways of finding the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of any number, no matter how relatively big or small they are? So the way to do this is step 1, product of prime factors. And then step 2 is construct Venn diagram. And step 3 is multiply. So what do these 3 steps exactly mean? So step 1, product of prime factors. Now, we can have a number such as this 70 over here, and we can write it as a product of the prime numbers that are also factors of 70. If you don't know what if you don't know what a prime number is, it's basically a number that only multiplies with 1 and itself as its factors. So for example, I can have 7, I can have 2, etc. So numbers with basically only 2 factors, the number itself and 1. So how can I make the 70 over here as a product of its prime factors? So first I can split up the 70 into 2 numbers, let's say 35 and 2. 35 times 2 obviously give me 70, so I can just split it up like this. So I can see that my 2 over here is a prime number, so I'd go ahead and circle it. Then I'd split 35 again, so I think of two numbers that multiply together to give me 35. So let's say 5 and 7. Now I can see that both of these are prime numbers, so I'd circle those two numbers. And now that I have all the prime numbers, I can write it as a product. Product means multiplying. So basically all of this turns into 2 times 5 times 7. Now, no matter what the numbers you put that like multiply to give 70 or multiply to give another number, no matter what numbers you put, you will eventually end up with the same answer. So, for example, let's say instead of going 35 times 2, we can go for example 10 times 7. I can see that this 7 over here is my prime number, so I just put a circle around it. And this 10 can be split up into 5 times 2. And I can see that both of these are prime numbers, and I get the same answer. So we would just then all multiply them together, and I have this product of prime factors. Now I would do the same thing with the 42. So I would think of two numbers that give me 42. Let's go simple and divide this by 2 and by 21. I can see that this 2 over here is a prime number, so I'd go ahead and circle it. Now you don't really have to circle it, but I highly recommend circling it if you see a prime number, just so you don't miss out on one when you're like writing the product. And then 21 can be split up into 7 times 3. And then these two are prime numbers. Therefore, my product is just all of them multiplied together. So 2 times 3 times 7. So this is step 1 complete. Step 2, construct a Venn diagram. What do we do now? So now that I have these two products of 70 and 42 of their prime factors, I would make a Venn diagram. If you don't know what a Venn diagram is, it's when basically we have kind of a circle diagram like this. Let's say the prime factors of 70 are here and the prime factors of 42 on here. Now, this area over here in the middle of the two intersections of the circle is where we put the factors where are both in 70 and 42. So if I right now look at my factors of 70, I have 2 over here, 5, and 7. And then over here I have 2, 3, and 7. I can see that 2 are both factors and 7 are both factors of 70 and 42. So I'd go ahead and write these numbers in my Venn diagram in the middle. As for the numbers left out, I would just put them in their own circle. So this 5 would go in the circle for 70, and this 3 would go in the circle for 42. And now I have my Venn diagram. So that is step 2 done. Step 3, multiply. Now step 3 is relatively easy. So this is where we can find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of these numbers. So now that I have this Venn diagram, the highest common factor is equal to all numbers in the middle multiplied. So in this case, I can see that my numbers in the middle are 2 and 7. Therefore, all we have to do is multiply them together to get the highest common factor. So my highest common factor is equal to 2 times 7, which is equal to 14. Therefore, 14 over here is the highest common factor between 70 and 42. As for the lowest common multiple, the lowest common multiple is all numbers in Venn diagram multiplied. So the lowest common multiple is you just find every single number here and just multiply them together. So let me do it here. The lowest common multiple would just be 5 times 2 times 7 times 3. So 5 times 2 is 10, 7 times 3 is 21, and then 10 times 21 is 210. And this is the lowest common multiple of 70 and 42. And that is step 3 done with multiplying, and we now have our lowest common multiple and highest common factor. So over here is another example which I'm going to do, the lowest common multiple and highest common factor of 45 and 105. So, as said before, step 1, product of prime factors. We get each number and write it as a product of all of its prime factors. So 45 can be split up into 5 times 9. I can see that this 5 over here is a prime number, so I'd circle it. The 9 can be split up into 3 times 3. So I can see that both of these 3's are prime numbers. So therefore, my product of prime numbers is 3 times 3 times 5. Or you can just rewrite it as 3 squared times 5. As for my 105, I can split this up into 5 and 21. This 5 over here is a prime number, so it would be circled. And then my 21 can be split into 7 and 3. And both of these are prime numbers. So my product of prime numbers would just be 3 times 5 times 7. Now that I have these products, step 2 would be to construct the Venn diagram. So step 2 over here, I'd make my Venn diagram. I have 45 circle here and 105 circle here. So the first thing I would do is see all the common factors. So on the 45 over here, I can see that I have 2 3's and a 5. And over here on the 105, I have a 3 and a 5. And I can see that I have a 3, a 5, and 1 3 being my common factors, common prime factors in both of these numbers. So I'd go ahead and put it in the middle, 3 and 5 over here. And then the remaining numbers, aka the extra 3 for the 45 and the 7 over here for the 105, we just write it in their respective circles. That is step 2 done. Step 3 is to just multiply together to find my numbers. So we said that the highest common factor is just simply the numbers in the middle all multiplied together. So my highest common factor is equal to 3 times 5. Therefore, my highest common factor between 45 and 105 is 15. As for my lowest common multiple, we just said all numbers in the Venn diagram multiplied together. So I have 3 times 3 times 5 times 7. 3 times 3 gives me 9. 5 times 7 gives me 35. 9 times 35 is going to give me, no idea what that is. So I can just get my calculator over here. 9 times 35 is going to give me 315. And that is my final answer for both of these questions. The highest common factor being 15 and my lowest common multiple being 315. Okay, now it's your turn. Have a go at these two questions. If you're going to answer them, go ahead and pause the video from now because I will answer them right now. So the first question is asking me to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 24 and 42. So step 1 is the product of prime factors. So I would go ahead and get my 24, and I can see that this can be split up into 6 and 4. No prime numbers yet, so nothing circled. This 4 can be split up into 2 and 2. Both of these are prime numbers, so I can circle them. And then this 6 can be split up into 3 and 2. So both of these are prime numbers, so I can circle them. Overall, so I have 3 2's over here, 2 times 2 times 2, which can just be written as 2 to the power of 3, or 2 cubed, times 3. As for my 42, I can split this up into 2 and 21. This 2 over here is a prime number, so I'd have to circle it. And then 21 can be split up into 3 and 7, and just circle both, since they're prime numbers. So my overall product is 2 times 3 times 7. And then step 2, I'd have to make my Venn diagram. So 24 over here, and wait, I need kind of a big middle so I can fit the numbers. 42 over here. So I can see that the numbers in common, I have 1 3 and 1 2. So I just write it here, 3 and 2. And then I just write the remaining factors in their respective circles. So I can see over the 24, we removed 1 2, so it's 2 to the power of 2 now. So I just have 2 2's. And for my 42, I only have the 7 left. And then step 3, just multiply together. So the highest common factor is the numbers in the middle multiplied. So my HCF is the 3 times 2. Therefore, my highest common factor is 6. And my lowest common multiple is just all the numbers multiplied together in the Venn diagram. So I have 2 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 7, which is 168. And that is my highest common factor and lowest common multiple. For question 2, I can see that I have 3 numbers over here, so I have to be kind of cautious of them. So step 1, prime product of prime. So I would go ahead and do 30, 36, 42. 30 can be split up into 10 and 3. That's my first prime number. 10 can be split up into 5 and 2. Those are my 2 numbers. So I have 2 times 3 times 5. 36 can be split up into 6 times 6. No prime numbers yet. Both of these 6's can be split up into 3 and 2, 3 and 2, and all of these are prime numbers. So I have 2 squared times 3 squared. This 42 can be split up into 2 and 21. 2 over here is a prime number. 2 and 21 can be split up into 7 and 3. These are both prime numbers, so I have 2 times 3 times 7. And now I have to make kind of a triple Venn diagram for step 2. So I have a circle for 30 over here, then I have a circle for 36 over here, and I have a circle for 42 over here. Now, it doesn't really matter where exactly I'm not really sure where exactly is the middle. I think it's just around here. It doesn't really matter where the placement is, as long as you know that they are common. So for my prime factors that are factors for all 3 numbers, I have a 1, 2, and 1, 3. So I would just write it here. Let me just actually clear out some space. 2 and 3. And then for the remaining numbers, for the 5, for the 30, I just have a 5, so I'd write 5 here. For the 36, I have 1, 2, and 1, 3 remaining, so I'd write 2 and 3 over here. And then for the 42, I just have the 7 remaining, so I'd write 7 over here. So my highest common factor is the numbers in the middle multiplied, so 2 times 3, which is 6. And then, as for my lowest common multiple, I have 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 7. And if we get our calculator, so I have 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 7. We get an overall answer of 1,260. That is my final answer, and we've officially finished covering how to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of any numbers. So I hope you guys understood, and I hope you guys have a good day. Now, please note that this is a topic that I will absolutely guarantee come in any tests if the kind of topic of multiples and factors and prime numbers is in the syllabus. This is almost a frequently this is a frequent question that students tend to get wrong since they think it's too simple or just forget to study, and it is really worth the marks. On average, it should take about maybe 5 marks compared to the whole paper. But anyways, I hope you guys understood and enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, and goodbye.